Hi mamas. So this is episode 12 for Mama Confession Mondays, and just to recap from my last video about my fridge and all of that stuff, it wasn't working for 3 weeks, and the repairman came and he checked it out, and he realized, or from his assessment, he thought I needed a new inside back panel and a new fan. So he left, ordered the stuff, which came in Friday. Then he came in on a Friday. He put all of that stuff in, and he said, give it 2 hours, more like 6, and then I'll check in on Monday. So I checked it at the 2-hour mark. Nada. Still warm. And then I was afraid to check it at the 6-hour mark because I was like, I don't want to be let down. And so I didn't check it. I checked it the next day. So it was 17 hours that it was running, and it should be cold by then, right? Or at least cooler. Well, so I go and check it, and it's still warm. And so I had to wait until Monday. He didn't call, so I ended up calling him at around 2 o'clock. And he was surprised. He's like, what? Really? Well, I have to call LG, but they're an Eastern company, so they're already closed. So I have to call them the next day, and then I'll call you back. Okay. He calls me on the Tuesday, and he says, okay, LG thinks that possibly you spilt something, and it covered the vent. Like, it froze over, and I need to check that and see if I, need to melt it or whatever. I'm just like, he's like, did you spill anything? I was like, I don't know. I was like, maybe I spilt something. I don't know. I have kids that slam the door. Things could have spilled. I don't know. And so he goes, and he does see a layer of ice over the vent, and so he steams it and, melts it. And he does that a few times until he said it was clear, and then he said, okay, that should do it. Give it 2 hours. Call me back. Blah. I think he said 2 hours, more like 6 again. So I checked it at the 2-hour mark before I left to go pick up my kids. It was humid, and I'm assuming it was humid because of the steam that was used to melt it. Wasn't any cooler, so it's like, okay. And then I asked my niece, because I took my son to boxing. I asked my niece if she could check it and see if it got any cooler. And I think by then it was like the 4 or 5 hour mark, 4-hour mark maybe. And she checked it. She said, no, it doesn't feel cool to me at all. I was like, okay. And so I called the guy, the repair person again, and I said, it's not any colder. And he was like, what? He's like, okay, I'm gonna have to call LG again tomorrow because it's an Eastern thing and it's closed, blah, 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 and we'll see. And so he calls, and he calls me back, and the LG guy said maybe it's frozen on the freezer side part, and that he should try to melt it from that side as well, and so that the cool air from the freezer goes all the way up to the top. So he comes over with the steamer again, and I explain, just as he's opening the door and stuff like that, I said, it is cooler, but it's not, every time I would open it, so that morning, when I first opened it, it was cool. But as soon as I closed it and then opened it again, maybe 10 minutes later, it was significantly warmer. And then my son tried it again, an hour later, and it was warm. It wasn't very cold. And so, he was taking things out, the trays and everything. And he goes, oh, well, the reason why that is because you don't have anything in there to keep it cold. What? I was like, I can't make this crap up. So what you're telling me is I don't have anything in there to keep it cold, so it's not keeping anything. So it's just not keeping cold? Oh, God. What's up with these smart devices not being very smart? And so he's like, well, I felt this tray, it's cold, the the bottom tray. He's like, if it's cold, he's like, so what you should do is get a bowl of water and put it on the bottom tray, and a bowl of water and put it on the top tray, and then the cold air will circulate and keep the items in there cold, and then the fridge will stay cold. And I was like, okay. So he like didn't really steam anything because he was like, no, it's cold, you just need to put items in there to keep it cold. I was like, what? Well, it worked in its weird way. It worked, but yeah. So I was hesitant to say it worked. So I gave it a full 24 hours before I could believe that it was working. And even then, I waited until I could deliver groceries on Sunday before I could say fully that it was working and everything was okay. Because I just didn't want to waste like hundreds of dollars worth of food again on a fridge that may or may not stay cold, right? So, I don't know. Yeah, so my fridge finally started working on a Friday. Then on the Saturday, which was May 1st, it's my mother's heavenly birthday. So she passed away when she was 61. 2 months after my firstborn was born. So when Tristan was born in June 2nd, and my mother passed away from cancer August 5th so just a couple months after my son was born. So it's easy for me to remember dates. So she would have been 74. So that was her heavenly birthday, May 1st. So we had Teagan's COVID approved picnic in the park birthday for our off reserve family and friends. So we did sort of like sign up for your 1 hour spot, 10 people maximum. So you stay on your blanket. I have a sanitary station for all the hand sanitizer and wipes and things like that if you would like to hold Teagan, that sort of thing. And it went really well. Teagan had a great time, and I'll insert a couple of pictures. And the weather held because it was like raining and it wasn't looking great all week. And I was like, please, please, please. And it held out for Saturday. And then the next day we did the same thing. And but it was for on the reserve because we have security at every checkpoint to sort of deter anyone from not the reserve to stay away, just to make sure to keep our COVID numbers low. And so we set up a table at the front of the road here in front of our house for birthday presents. People got to come by, drive by, honk, see baby, and get a cupcake. Oh, I went a little overboard. I ordered a ton of these mini and regular sized cupcakes that were gluten-free, vegan, vanilla cupcakes with raspberry icing on top. Then I ordered a small cake that was also the same thing, gluten-free, vegan, vanilla cake with raspberry icing on top. And I was like, I gave them out to people. And we still had a ton left over. And it was really fun. Because I was racking my brain, like, how can I make this day special for this boy? Even though he won't remember it, he's turning 1, I mean. But, you know, we always used to do something special for for all of our boys' first birthday. And I don't know, I feel like this boy has got the short end of the stick on a lot of things. Yeah, like his dad passing away when he's only 3 months old, you know? Then his eczema. Ugh. So... yeah, so it was really great to have everyone sort of come and show their love and get to hold Teagan for the first time. It was really special. I bought this thing, and I'll insert a picture. It's from Lily and River, so it's a company in the States, and I saw it and I was like, oh my gosh, I want one, because I used to work at this daycare where they had one similar. And you could only buy that really in the like in the early childhood educator catalogs. And as much as I liked it, it wasn't I don't know, it wasn't as pretty. So when I saw this one and at the US company Lily and River, it was beautifully made, and I loved the wood, the craftsmanship of it, and I had to order it. So I ordered it, and it came quickly. I was really surprised considering, you know, COVID and things coming from the States up here. I'd assume would take longer. I put it together in the park for Teagan's birthday, and it came together really easily. And he had a blast, and he's pretty fearless about it. He was trying to go over it. He saw his brother Emery climb it and go over it, and so he was determined to try to get over it. Gave me a bit of a heart attack, but I helped him every time he got to the top and wanted to go over. A couple of times he would fall down like off the slide bit, but he fell in such a good way that I was like, oh, you're good, you're fine. Yeah. And then on Monday, which was his actual birthday, May 3rd, we had just a small dinner party at my sister-in-law's house, which is right behind our house here. And then I brought the cake there. It was good. It was good. It's good to see people. Now, I don't know if I said that in the last one, but my son just started boxing lessons. He just started them last Monday, and I'm, you know, I think it was the right thing to do, and me and Terry used to talk about it too before he passed away, before COVID hit, that we wanted to put Tristan in something physical where it focused his mind but also strengthened his body, and gave him something different to do. You know, a lot of these kids and their games and their screen time, it's an escape, but it really only does so much, right? It doesn't focus you and strengthen your body the way that something physical like martial arts or boxing would do. And so, you know, this is his second week, and he's got class tonight, so I'm excited for him to see how he does, and hopefully he starts progressing. He doesn't know how to use a skip rope, and that's one big thing about boxing, so I have to find my skip rope. I have one part of a kit for exercising. I have to find it and I have to start teaching him how to use the skip rope, because his like coordination for skipping is so off. I feel bad. He's like, I don't know how to skip, and I was like, well, it's something you gotta learn. I loved skipping when I was a kid. We used to play, I could never do this one. I don't know what you call it when you're skipping this way. I could never do this, but I could do the, you know, where you had the one rope and you're going over like this, and then just the regular skipping. I could do that. Hi. I really need to start going through my card and start deleting things, because every single time now it keeps telling me my card's full and I have to delete a couple of clips before I could record some more. So now that my son is 1, and he just turned 1 like 2 days ago, now that he's 1, I'm going to slowly start incorporating those no-no foods, those allergen foods that he potentially reacts to. His face has flared up a little bit over the last, I'd say 4 or 5 days. But I think part of that is because it's getting hotter, and like, for example, on Friday, I put him in the car, it got really hot, and he started scratching. I think he was sweating and he started scratching. So I think I just need to figure that bit out. But again, it's manageable. His skin is a little bit more rough than it usually is, I think because of the heat and the environment. So I think I'm gonna start for this week and next week only doing egg, because we use egg in a lot of things. I still think my gut tells me it's dairy that is his trigger. Maybe I don't think he has a issue with wheat with his face. I think maybe he has issue with wheat and digestion. I don't know. We'll see. So egg. I'm gonna do egg. I'm not too worried about soy sauce, like soy. I'm not too worried about soy and shellfish right now because we don't use a lot of it. The only time I use soy is when I'm using soy sauce in my cooking. So I'll leave those to the end, near the end. And was it 2 weeks ago? A week and a half ago? He got into some almonds and he was eating them. And I was like, oh, well, you're eating them? Fine, I'm eating them. So I ate them too. And he was okay. I didn't see any horrible flare-ups, and I definitely didn't see him like have anaphylactic anything, so that's great. I really love almonds. So yes, we'll see how it goes. This is going to be week 1 of eggs. My kids love omelette, but we put, or frittata, and we put cheese on top. So for a while I wasn't putting any dairy in the eggs, but we were putting cheese on top. So I'm going to make a frittata and put like half of it with cheese and half of it without cheese, and keep it separate like that and see how it goes. Yeah, fingers crossed. Egg is okay. I just hope that egg's okay, and I really want to eat my sourdough. Gluten-free bread is alright. Don't get me wrong. It just has an interesting texture that makes me feel like it's more like potato bread. Like if you've ever had potato rolls or potato bread, it kind of reminds me a bit more of that, where it like breaks up a little. It breaks up a little more clumpy. I don't know. Whereas regular bread just has that, I don't know. I'm like salivating just thinking about it. I'm not even a bread person. I'm not truly a bread person, but I do love my sourdough. Oh, here's another thing that I forgot to say. On Monday, I should back it up. On Friday, our reserve has this buy and sell group. So it's just people on the reserve that, you know, no longer need an item, and they either sell it or they sell it or they just put it for free. But it's just for our community. And a family member was selling their tank for a lizard, for a reptile of some sort. The whole tank. And I said, oh, you know, the kids have been bugging me for a while to get a tank for a reptile, but I will ask the kids. And the family member messaged back saying, oh, I know someone who wants to rehome their bearded dragon as well. And I said, okay, can you send me a picture and I will talk to the kids. And so I talked to the kids, and Emery was like all for it. Dragon? I want a dragon. Give me a dragon. And I was like, well, just so you know, you guys are taking care of this, and you guys are, this is gonna be your birthday present from me. Like that's the birthday present. And my oldest one was like, oh, that's our birthday present. Well, I have to think about this first. I was like, you're still gonna get your birthday. You're still gonna get your birthday party, but your birthday present, this will be your birthday present. And he said, okay, well, I guess that makes sense. I showed them the picture of the bearded dragon, and because at first Tristan was like, no, I don't want a bearded dragon, and then I showed them the picture of it. He goes, oh, that's not what I Googled. What the heck did I Google? And I was like, He Googled an iguana. It's like, no way. I'm not getting a huge iguana. And he goes, oh, well, that's cute. I want that. And so I bought them that. It came in on Monday. They brought everything. Our poor house looked like crazy people lived in it because after 2 days of birthdays and a fridge that finally works, our house had like takeout containers everywhere. And I was trying to get the kids to throw all the garbage out and all the recycling out right when the family member was coming with the bearded dragon, and so it looked like crazy people lived here. Cardboard boxes on the floor because they were trying to take out the recycling. Anyways, this bearded dragon, how fitting is this? My son is my middle son, Emery, is obsessed with King Kong and Godzilla and all of that stuff. And when the family member told us the name of this bearded dragon, it was Godzilla, or Godzilla 2, I think. So Emery was so excited. He was like, oh, Godzilla. And I was like, okay, well, do you want to call it Godsy? Because your nickname is MZ. And he's like, yeah, we'll call it Godsy. And so we now have a bearded dragon named Godsy, or Godzilla. And the kids love it. I had to go to 3 stores looking for crickets for this thing. But as I was reading up on it, I can also give it like leafy greens. So that's perfect for my garden. And right now I have like kale that's bolted and stuff that I tried to pull out the kale that I put in in the fall. I tried to pull it out, and the stalk, I do not lie, it's like this thick, and I was trying to pull it out. That sucker's stuck in there. I don't know how. I'm gonna have to dig it out. But I could peel off the leaves and I can give it to Godsy. So that is perfect for anything that bolts or gets a bunch of slug damage. I wonder if I could feed him slugs. This might have opened up a whole new world for me. I will have to look it up. Slug deterrent, dealing with the slugs, I might be able to just feed them to Godsy. That'd be perfect. Well, I think I'm gonna end it there. There's a couple more things I could talk about, but I think I'll save that for when I know more. When I know more, I will let you know. Until then, thanks for watching, and happy lemonade, Mama. Bye.